let me turn this down here. I'm trying to watch the live stream on mine, so I don't need the volume. So let's see what we're doing. Anyway, welcome everybody. It looks like we've got a good crowd here. I hope it's cool up here, so if you guys start getting too hot, you're going to have to sit in front. So I'll try to remember to talk into this so you guys can hear. Is everybody good? Okay. All right, we're going to be live streaming the meeting again this time. So your friends, if they aren't able to live stream, they can always go to our YouTube channel and watch what's going on. Are we on? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, we're on. We're live. I just wanted to say that the Guild's purpose, or the purpose of the organization shall be to promote interest and skill in knitting, to encourage high standards of quality and workmanship, and to encourage the use of those skills for the benefit of others. So that's our purpose, but we know it's more than that. We love to get together with our knitters, and I'm glad we're able to get out a little bit more. First off, I wanted to thank all the Guild members who donated or volunteered their time at the Midwest Fiber Festival. It was a great success. Heather did a great job. I had an area where there was demonstrations of, I had my Swift there, so if anybody wanted to learn more about the Guild, we were there. So we had a lot of interest. So maybe some of the people that I met on that Saturday, or Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday, are here today. So if so, welcome. Let's see. Mark your calendars also, because next year she's going to have it on the 28th and 29th of April. So we'll be doing that again. I don't have any member news. Does anybody have any member news? I just wanted to also remind everybody, since it is live streamed and this can be viewed by anybody, just to be careful to not divulge any information that might be of a private nature. But if there's anything, any good news or anything anybody has to share, if not, we'll go on to one change in the meeting location. I had booked this spot for the rest of the year, but we're going to be in a different spot in October the 8th. We're going to be, instead of Brentwood, we're going to be at the Point at Baldwin Commons. So kind of keep, check the newsletter out. There might be some more information in the later that will tell you what's planned for October. But we won't be here, so anybody that had it for Brentwood for October, we're not going to be there. We're going to be in Baldwin. The Guild's website for the member area section is going to be changing as of July 1st. So that new password will be made available to members, and it will be printed on your new membership cards. So if at some point you change it and you can't access it, just contact me, and I'll, our Beth will verify your membership and make sure that you have the new password to get onto the member section. And one other thing, I don't know if I might be speaking out of turn here. As far as the website, we have now officially changed it to where it's a secure website. The member only was, but when you log into websites and it has the little lock on it, you knew for sure it was secure, and we've been working on getting that secure. It is now a secure website, so you know the information should work out fine. But if you notice anything that doesn't have the little lock, just email to info@GSLKG, and we'll make that change so that we didn't miss one of the pages. Knit-ins. Kathy DeSmuke is hosting a knit-in at the Bridgeton McAllister's Deli on the second Wednesday from 11 till 2. And that will be printed in the June newsletter. It will be added to the sheet of all the news. Did you say second Wednesday? Second Wednesday at the Bridgeton McAllister's. And show and share. Our fabulous photographer is going to be taking pictures of all the show and share projects. So after we do show and share, make sure you go to the back of the room, and she will take a photo of your project, which will be in the next newsletter. Oh, a couple people have asked me about my shirt. I bought this at Land's End. They have the Guild logo. They have the new logo and the old logo. So if you're interested in getting a shirt like this, or a bag, or it doesn't have to be this shirt. I mean, if you see something at Land's End on the website, I'll put something in the newsletter that has a link to our Greater St. Louis Knitters Guild store, so that it takes you directly to where you can upload, or it already has the logo on there that you can choose. So that's kind of fun. This one's a little nice shirt, so if you've ever bought Land's End products, you know they're quality goods. So as far as announcements, that's all I have. We're going to go on to the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes from our April 9th meeting that were printed in the May newsletter? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Joni?
I'll second it.
And Mary Dale Anderson second. Okay. And I want to thank Joanne for taking our minutes at each meeting. The treasurer's report. Are there any questions on the March treasurer's report that was published in the May newsletter? If not, that will be submitted for audit. There was one correction. It's really not a correction to the minutes. I incorrectly stated the interest rate on the CD was 0.2%. It's actually 0.02%. That's a big difference, but you know, we tried. So the minutes are correct, the information was wrong, so we'll have that reflected in the minutes. So, Laura, do you have anything else to report?
No.
Okay. She did want us to know that the federal Form 990N has been filed. That's an annual federal filing. And the Missouri tax exempt Form 126 was filed, and this just changes the officers on file at the state. So those were taken care of. All right, so now we're going to move on to the other members, other reports. Eileen and Joni, let them do their administrative report.
Hi, I'm Joni Weisberg, and Eileen and I are co-VPs, co-administrative VPs. And I just found out we're up to 52 reservations for the luncheon. So we're getting there slowly and surely.
3 more.
At huh?
That has 3 more.
That has 3 more, so that's 55. Yay! And I want to remind everyone, if you haven't signed up, please do. It's going to be a great fun time. The deadline for making your reservations is next Friday, May 20th. Next Friday.
This coming Friday.
Today's Saturday. It's next week.
You're right.
And if you haven't made up your mind about signing up, these are some examples of our great raffle prizes. So some donated yarn. And here we have, I'm not going to show you, it's a mystery bag.
It's gorgeous yarn.
It's gorgeous yarn from donated by Miss Babs. So sign up and bring your cash so you can buy raffle tickets. They'll be on sale for 6 tickets for $5.
Okay. The Midwest Fiber Festival was a great success. And I bought a lot. I was talking to the guys from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and I had introduced myself and told them that I was from the guild when I wanted to ask them if I could take their photo for the newsletter. And then I went back, of course, on my trips back there that day. And Andy said, "You're with the guild, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "Well, we do things for a lot of different guilds, and one of them was they have groups come out and you can dye yarn. They're in Clinton, Illinois. It's a 2.5-hour drive. They said a Sunday or a Monday would be best because the shop is closed on that day. You can dye 1 or 2 skeins of yarn, and prices. The knitted sock blank is $45 for a blank. And to dye a skein of yarn is $35 per skein. You can do a solid or a speckle. And you can do different weights. You can use a fingering weight, which would give you 463 yards per skein or sock blank, a DK weight, 250 yards, or worsted weight, which is 218 yards. Sorry about that. It's allergies.
We thought it was COVID.
No. Fortunately. Okay. Now where was I? Oh, yeah, they could take a maximum of maybe 15 or 16 people per day. If we get that many, some people would have to bring chairs because they don't have that many chairs to accommodate a lot of people. You can, when you dye your yarn while you're waiting for it to process, you can sit and knit or shop. There's some shops in town near the yarn shop. You could shop there. You could go eat lunch. There's stuff to do. And they also said they do joint shows for knitters guilds, and it would be similar to what they had at Fiber Fest. They would bring their yarn and set it up here or wherever we decide to do that, and they'd sell their yarn. And other stuff, they have other stuff, notions and stuff, so, if there is some interest in that, please let me or Eileen know, and we can, talk to Steve and Andy about setting some dates up. Would anybody be interested? Oh, good. Okay. All right. Okay. And now I want to ask Heather Swan to come up. She's going to be opening up a new yarn shop in town. Yay! Come up and talk about it.
Thank you, Joan, for the opportunity to talk to you guys today. First of all, I just want to say, you guys helped make my dreams come true a couple of weeks ago, and it was one of the best times ever. I had vendors who were so appreciative of you guys. You guys that showed up on Friday night. I mean, I know some of you were like, Heather, I didn't really do much. And I'm like, you did though. Your faces were there. You were saying hello. I had vendors tell me they've never been to a festival where they were treated so well and so taken care of. And that was because of you guys. Not only did you guys shop, which thank you, because that means the 14 that I have that have already signed up, they've already paid their full booth fees. They are already on board for next year. And that is because you guys were there. And I could have never done this alone, and I totally was just kind of jumping in, and I knew I was taking a chance on stuff, and you guys made it happen, and I just want to say thank you so much. I honestly am humbled by each and every one of you who took time out of your schedule to be there to bring this whole event come to life. And I look forward to many, many more years and tweaking and making things better in the future. So, just wanted to say thank you. I have some postcards in case you guys just want reminders for next year. I'll put them out. And then I also have some business cards for the yarn shop that Joan was talking about. It's called YarnCom. If you don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, please do. I post all my updates on there right now. Because I was doing the festival, I was not as focused on my yarn shop as far as the website goes, but the website should go at least alive with some updates on it, hopefully in the next week or so. It'll be very, very scaled down until we get into more full-on mode. I am in lease agreements right now with the owners of Chesterfield Plaza. I'm super excited to announce that. Again, another dream of mine coming true, and it is very humbling to have all of the encouragement and support from you guys. I know that our fiber community on the yarn side specifically took a huge hit over COVID. Notorious closing, Curious Crafter closing. We only have the weaving department right now in North County. There is another yarn shop, Seven Sisters, opening in South County, but we need to kind of reinvigorate our fiber community. And the more yarn shops, the better for all of us, because we're going to have better selection, we're going to have better opportunities. I'm looking forward to teaching tons of classes, and I'll definitely need employees. So if people are looking for things to do, or if you just want to volunteer, I will pay you in yarn. I'll need pattern testers and everything. I'm going to put my cards out. It has my email specifically for the yarn shop. Please email me. I will be putting more specific needs out there very soon, but if there is something that you're like, hey, I'm really good at this thing and I want to do it, let's talk. So anyway, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to talk to you guys today. I'm sorry. It's so Chesterfield Plaza is a strip mall that is at 141 and Olive. And it's very easily accessible from the 4141 corridor. It is, if you know where Stackhouse is, and if you don't, it is, there's Ian's Bra Shop that's also in that area. There's a 7-Eleven and there's Kimchi's. It is catty corner from the Deerbergs Plaza with the Starbucks. And for those of you that like to hang out at Jenny's on Fridays, it's right across the street. Grab your lunch, walk on over, let's hang out. And I also know there's a knit-in at Firehouse Subs as well. So we'll be getting everything up there. We'll be initially open Wednesday through Sunday, and by appointment only on Mondays and Tuesdays. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Heather. We look forward to your shop opening. I forgot a very important part of the Guild, and that is announcing new members, because without members, we wouldn't be here. So we want to welcome new members: Tracy Brown, Cassie Day, Lori Hayden, Kathleen Kimballhouse, and Kathleen Lumi? I hope I pronounced that right. And welcome back a returning member, Judy Harris.
We have a new member here.
Oh!
And I just signed up, Jennifer Hart.
That's all the new members have to get up and do a dance.
How was the education? Only education report is next. And third Mason. Okay.
I just need to grab my paper.
Susan and I have gone through the suggestions that we got from you last week, or last month, and we have outlined programs for the rest of the year. Today's program is brioche knitting. This is one, it's not mine, a presenter made it for me. June, of course, is a Founders Day luncheon. Then after that, we have several programs coming that we're going to ask for your help. So watch the newsletter. We need things like your favorite patterns, your favorite little tips for knitting, your favorite things to knit for Christmas. Those items, just a matter of gathering what you have and coming in and sharing with us. We also have in October, as Jim mentioned, we're going to be at the Point in Baldwin. We're going to have the chance to de-stash. You need to go through your stash, find out what you have too much of, or what you're never going to use, or maybe that work in progress you just don't want to go back to. And you can bring everything in. We can charge for these things. You may not charge for any patterns unless you're selling a whole book. But if you've got a pattern off of Ravelry, that's not acceptable to print out and resell. But other things are all up to you. Also notions, anything that you want. One of the other things we're going to have is a couple of knit-alongs. First of all is this one. And Annette will tell you a little more about this one. So we're going to have a knit-along with the brioche. Then early next year we're going to have a sweater knit-along. And probably find a baby pattern for those of you who would like a chance to find out what it's like to make a sweater. And you can make a baby sweater at that time. One of our other programs in August is knitting with beads. A lot of people thought this sounded like a good idea, so we have Melissa Tisman from the Bead Place coming over. She is a knitter, and as you know, the Bead Place has a few beads. So she's going to bring some ideas. She will have some notions with her, but they also have a very good website that you can order things on. That's all I have. Enjoy the program.
Hello. How you guys doing? Hello. Is it working good? You can hear it in the back? Awesome. Cool. We'll keep this one then, right? Okay. If it wasn't going to work good, we weren't going to keep it. We were going to send it back to Amazon. So we're keeping this one. A couple of things for today. The program, we are live streaming, but we do not, and I'm going to talk to the live stream people right now. We do not have permission to use these videos and re-stream them, okay? Because everything that's on YouTube is copyrighted, right? And we love copyrights because we're knitters and we make patterns and we get paid for them and we buy patterns and we do not violate copyright laws. So when that happens, you guys on YouTube, I'm going to have to mute the audio and video, and you get to see a lovely picture of our logo during the parts where that's actually playing, and I will try to turn on in between so that you can follow at least what Lynette is telling us about, because that's not copyrighted unless you decided to do that in just a second. So we can listen to Lynette, but we cannot, but you guys can't view the videos that we're going to be seeing. I will, the slide that I have to put up for you guys though does have the link. So you can go to the video and look at it yourselves while in another window while we're looking at it here. Okay? That said, I am getting a little bit desperate for some help with all this technology. Okay? This thing is easy to set up. You push 2 buttons, but boy, it sure would be nice to have somebody that would be willing to help with that on meeting dates. There's also streaming. If there's anybody that if you don't know how to stream, I will teach you. I was a teacher. Ask John. He saw me do it. I was a teacher for many years, and I am happy to teach you how to stream. It is not rocket science. I know about that, and this is not it. Okay? I really do. And it's not. It's really not. And you can do it from any computer, so you'll be able to do it from your own computer. Because right now, I'm a single point of failure. If I happen to decide to go to Disney World, like I'm going tomorrow, I'm really not. But if seriously, I gotta it's already. It's on my watch. I'm ready. Okay. But if anything would happen and I couldn't make a meeting, we can't live stream right now because nobody else knows how. But again, we got 2 people. Oh, you guys are awesome. Come see me between the great. Yay! I don't want to bust your ears out. I can hear it. It's like, it's pretty good. Is it too loud? Oh, because we can turn it down. Okay, cool. Another thing I'm really desperate for is some help, and this is going to seem crazy, guys. Okay, I can set up all this junk and do all this stuff. I cannot use Instagram to save my life. I cannot. I think the problem is that it's instant, and I'm not a very instantaneous person. And so by the time I find the link and I go to it, the thing is gone. Yeah. It's gone. I don't know where it went. It's instant, I guess. It went away. But if there's anybody out there that's like an Instagram princess or prince or whatever, please, please come and help me. Because I have no idea what to do with it. I'm just sitting on the password and stuff. I'm not doing anything on Instagram because it frightens me at this point. Because I can never find anything. Okay? So I'm in desperate need for that. Another kind of cool issue, we have over 400 users on 400 members in our Facebook group. We only have 200 members. So we have the potential, and that would, I mean, so even if every single guild member, all 200 of us, were signed up and are part of that Facebook group, and I know that's not true, but even if we were, that means there's 200 potential members out there. Think of the cool things we could do if we had 400 members instead of 200 members. So I want to encourage anybody, I know I use Facebook a lot to keep in touch with my family, and that means I'm on it almost every day, not quite every day, but almost every day. And whenever I find cool things to post, I post them. But post what you're working on, just post. And especially if you can tie it into why people should become field members, what are the benefits, what do you get out of this? Because right now they're just like on the side, and they don't feel like they need to join. So we need to give them reasons to join. If you can show them what you're doing and talk about the program. After the program today, say, hey, I really love Lynette is amazing. She gave us the most beautiful program today, and if only you could have been there, you would have seen all of it in its glory. So anything you can do to do that, that's going to help our membership, and that's going to help. Does anybody have any questions about any of this technology? You don't even want to hear it, except you two people that said it would help. Somebody makes sense. Who's next?
One other person that could use a little bit of help, if anybody's interested in helping with the website. I think Susan could also use some help, so, that would be greatly appreciated. That would be any of the people that are in the meeting room today. It's open to any members if they would like to offer some help. So that'd be great. The next report is going to be Pam with the community service. And I'm going to butt ahead of her because this is a sample of the pattern raspberry beanie that was in the newsletter. So if anybody's interested in it, I'm working on one now. So.
Community service people, and we just got I'm sorry. Is that better?
She's talking.
That's good. Better. Okay.
Good.
Somebody just donated a sizable amount of yarn from, I think the person was 101 years old, but her yarn isn't. So please check back there because it's very useful worsted weight yarn. And then we had a fabulous donation that I believe I don't have any of it. It was sock yarn and it was beautiful. And it went to the appropriate people, very far away from me. Anyway, if you did pick up something that looked like this, there were a couple of them that jumped on the floor. If you would like the rest of it, that would be really great. Because you might want to make a blanket, and it was blanket size. So I have a taker. Okay. Let's see. The next meeting is that special meeting, and we are going the product that we're asked to bring is Chemo Hats. Any hats will do, but Chemo Hats specifically, which are very soft. A lot of times they're cotton. And also, this interesting yarn makes wonderful Chemo Hats. Very, very soft, lightly warm, and not at all scratchy for heads that really are without hair. Our heads get cold. They're also, the scalp is often very sensitive. So the softer, the better. And I personally think that the less bobbles and interesting things, do pom-poms, please don't. The less activity with stitches and yarn overs and things, the better. So, because you want a smooth, very soft, and I see heads nodding. You guys have been like me, gone through the valley of the whatever, and so the sensitive scalp is a real issue. So just remember that. Realize that heads tend to be without hair. They tend to be smaller than you think. Like 19 circumference is kind of with a nice stretch. And this stuff, and also eyelash yarn, make really interesting, and you probably want to learn to wear them in public. But they're very soft Chemo Hats. So I would love for somebody to come back with next month and have a whole bunch of white, delicate hats out of this yarn. So it'll be back there just in case. And there is a knit your own beard kit, which is like okay. I've threatened to give it to inflict it on various people, but it's unique. Let's see. That is about all I really need to say. The products. Make sure you go back and look at the charity table, because we have some beautiful things, and they're good examples of what this guild can create for people that need things. Other questions? And what did I forget? Go away, Dan.
Do you need the microphone?
I don't think so. I've always been told I'm a loud talker. Can everybody hear me? Well, first of all, here's this giant bag. Where's the other? What is it? Everybody see this on the sign-in table? What is it? Take your ball of yarn, put it in there, plug it on, and there you go. So if anybody wants it, do you want it, Jen? Oh, Joanne will take it. Do you really want it, Joanne says she'll take it because she walks and knits.
So who guessed it?
Me! I was the one that guessed it. And I have 4 spatial concepts. I mean, I don't know how. First of all, so glad that so many people are signed up for the luncheon. And as Princess of Hospitality, I want to invite anyone who is new, who doesn't know anyone, to please join me at my table. Luncheon is a great way to meet people. If I have so many new people, I will find another happy hostess to start a second table. So if you feel like, oh, I don't know anybody, and you know me, or you'll know me a lot better. The Chemo Hats. I have to tell my Chemo Hat story. For every head, there's a hat. For every hat, there's a head. And I was at St. John's Mercy dropping off Chemo Hats in the pediatric. And I bought this cute little sun, I mean, they were just darling. And I look over, and there's a young man getting chemo. And he's 18 years old. He's 6'2", like any of these little girly dolly hats. So I reach into my bag, and I have this giant white hat. I said, honey, this is all I have. I love it. Now, one other story, Bart. Stand up, Bart. Bart donated this fish hat. And I'm like, okay. Well, my friend was getting chemo, and I would go and sit with her. And here's this young man sleeping, getting chemo. I said, I'm going to give him this fish hat. I'm going to lay it on his lap and see what he says. He wakes up and he's like, what's this? I said, that's your chemo hat if you want it. He's kind of looking, he said, he puts it on his head. This way, I'm single. This way, I'm married. This way, I'm available. He didn't live very long after that, but he put it on his Facebook page. So you have to know that your kindness is greatly appreciated. I was out to lunch one day, and this lady was talking about her friend that was having chemo. I said, well, would she like a hat? She's so down, so low. I sent her 3 hats. She sent me back the cutest note. Thank you. I was really down today, and I got your chemo hats, and it's lightened my life. So sometimes we send our things out into the great void, and we never hear back. But know that your chemo hats are touching people's lives. Okay, we have 2 visitors. Debbie Rimmel. Debbie, you're still here. Welcome. You're not eligible for the great prizes until you become a member. So Martha, and I forgot how you're. Martha Gaither. It's a beautiful handwriting. I just have rotten eyes. Okay, so we have 54 members here today. This is about 90 more than we've been here. So, last month I brought tons of prizes, and this month I gauged it on 35 people, so I only have 4 prizes. Katie Holly. Oh.
I just said there's no way I'm gonna win. You never know.
You never know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, honey. That's what old people call people that can't remember their name. Honey, sweetie. And how about Jamie Zielinski? Jamie? Okay. Let's see. Then it's going to be Sue Howell. Wonderful.
Now that is great. That is great.
Are there any more Hollies here? How about Mary Fitzgerald?
And I'm a new member, or a renewal member. I was a member like 20 years ago.
You look familiar to me.
Yeah,
Okay, one more. Alice Kemmer. How are you back? Alice from Dallas. Alice from Dallas. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you at the luncheon.
Jody wanted me to let you know that she's going to have a tentative sign-up sheet for the Leading Men field trip. We don't know the date yet, but she's just kind of writing if you're interested. Sunday works better than Monday, so you can put your name under. It's not committing anybody. It's just so that she knows what days maybe we should look at and you're interested in coming. So that'll be over by Tony. That concludes the business portion, but now we're going to do show and share. And after show and share, we'll do a break and then we'll do the program. But if anybody has something they'd like to show, come on up, line up. We've don't have to use the microphone unless it looks like we should start using it again. But there's some sheets on the table that if you write down the information on your show and share project, I usually create a bundle on Ravelry of the projects that are shown. So that helps people go home and say, well, that was a pretty pattern, what was that? So we'll be on Ravelry. So is Vicky's the only one so far? No, we got more than that.
It's really not. So this is a sweater that I made that I had posted on Facebook of help on the increases because they were just showing too much. And I still think they show too much, but it's the best I can do on long notice. It's called Land Express by Melissa Bingo. And I think I like it, but like I said, I just didn't like the way all the increases, because it creates bands across when you get real close.
It's a feature.
It's a design feature. So here is this information. It was too hot to put on, so.
Anybody else? Nope. Oh, we got Alice is coming. Oh, we have a there's a group of ladies who participated in the Midlawn in Myers House, and they made some beautiful costumes. So we have Alice and Kathy and Chris, okay, and Chris. Poncho parade.
I'm Debbie, Molly.
You all look like a little dance troupe.
So it's an accidental get-along up at Myers House. It started the 1st of January roughly. And then like Kathy jumped in, different things. It was just a fun bonding. I know Chris and I used the Let Lopey that was up at Myers House on the shelf. Kathy, what'd you use out of your stash?
Well, I didn't buy yarn, sad to say. However, the main color is Stonehenge Fiber Mill worsted wool that I bought from the gal that's not there anymore.
Curious Cracker.
And then my accent colors figured to the Rosa Zara Plus. So that's the accent color.
And Spodur, S-P-O-R-D-U-R, is the name of the pattern. It is on Ravelry. And it was a fun knit. We had a lot of fun, bonded well over it, learned new techniques. So, this is us.
Very few people have made the pattern on one or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
12 people there.
At one point there were,
Top down or?
no, bottom up, cast on for this size, 384 stitches. And then they said, like, join in the round, and we're like,
Oh.
so what we did, it became a learning tool where we did our borders first and then joined in the round and then used our tail to whip the study shop.
Okay.
Cast on with 2 yarns.
And we cast it on using 2 bottles of yarn, which was new for some of us, you know. And then working with the color work chart and all, and it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. I learned a lot.
Yeah, we did. And see, Chris and Kathy did a different neck. The pattern shows you with a nice, tall turtleneck or whatever. We're like, no. And so we ended up, some of us just did where you knitted in the round like 8 or 9 rows. It dropped over. We had a roll neck. And like these two chose to do what you might call a traditional
Yeah.
finishing up.
Yeah, I don't get that cold, so that turtleneck would never.
Oh, that would have driven me nuts, you know, so, but no, that's our fun project.
Make sure you get your picture taken.
Oh.
Let's go back to
That
that.
way is 310.
Oh, come on up, come on up.
if you crochet, I think it's Yarnspiration's Summer Top, but I changed it up a little bit. It's cute. And it's fun. I like it. It's like, wee. Very colorful and fun. The yarn is Lion's Brand ice cream and green tea.
Cute.
Well, we're going to take a quick little break, maybe it's a 5-minute break while they set up for the program, because we have the room until 4. They'd like us to be out here by 4, so I don't want to cut our program short. So.
And actually, if I could have somebody willing to run the YouTube videos for me, that would be a huge help. Otherwise, I'm going to be running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
So, quick break, and we'll see you back here.
And so it's actually still works, but when I turn it on and use it when it gets warm, it slows on. I can't use the touchpad. I have to hook up a USB mouse. So it's OBS, and I can show you what it looks like. No, it's not for phones.
So this would be on the same thing for iPads.
That's true. Well, it doesn't work
Mac.
on iPad. This is the OBS Studio, so that's part of it. But yeah, it's not.
I'll
You
get
have to
this
look for the computer. Yeah, but it's OBS, and this is what it looks like. So you can see. This is the camera hooked up to it, and you can see the audio levels and all that sort of stuff going on. I can turn off all these. You can turn them on and off. It's just a matter of kind of fooling with it for a while.
OBS Studio.
I don't know if this is called Studio. Yes, OBS Studio. And lots of people use it. It's safe to
Windows,
download.
Mac, and Linux.
There you go. Lots of people use it. It's safe. As anything is. It's as safe as anything is. And if you can get it and kind of start figuring out, you can add. You have to create a scene, and then you create objects within that. And one of them, and I'm standing right in front of one is the camera. One of them is a slide that I have your logo on, and I can send the logos and stuff. And there's a slide saying, I can't show you this, but here's the link that we're looking at. Skills projector. But this is my computer, my husband's computer.
So.
It's kind of handy. Like today, I've got two things going on. If I know I can reach out to somebody, who said, hey, you might bring your computer and I can make this video. I'm not sure I have your contact info. And now I don't know where I put my phone.
My name is Lynette. Hello. Not sure. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. One of the things that I like to tell people is that I think I have infinite patience. And my friend Rosemary said to me, "You do not have infinite patience." I thought, oh, I really
I like that. That's how I made money. But anyway, but I think truthfully knitting is my passion. I love to knit more than I love to do anything else. I'll sit and knit for hours and hours. And I even have my watch that tells me to stand up. It doesn't, I did it that way. And it says stand up. Okay, I'm gonna stand up for 5 minutes. Anyway, I really seriously love to knit. And I thought a few years ago, when I turned 70, that my brain wouldn't work anymore because I couldn't remember lots of things. And I couldn't follow more than this little thing. And I bought Knit Companion, and if you don't have it, it is one of the very best things I've ever bought. I seriously love it. I learned how to use it little teeny bit by little teeny bit. And I think it was maybe 10 years ago that I did a program about Knit Companion over in the Kirkwood, whatever it was, we were on there. And somebody there actually bought an iPad. I bought this just because you said that, and I'm about to have a heart attack. But anyway, if you're going to learn something, I've got 2 or 3 things I wrote down as to why and how I learn, because I think it's really important. One of the things you have to like what you're going to do. And so I find that brioche, I like the way it feels. It's puffy, and it feels wonderful. And it looks a little bit like Knit One Purl would, but it doesn't feel that way. It's way different, very different. And my friend Lynn made this one for me the other day, and I was so pleased. Oh, somebody actually did what I asked them to do. But anyway, and then I made this one. This is one color, and it's real puffy. I'll send it around if y'all want to feel it. Anybody want to feel it? Yes. And this is one color too, also one color brioche. So we're going to start out by looking at a video of how to do one color. And after you know how to do one color, 2 colors isn't that much harder. One of the things I have to do is to read my iPad because I can't remember what I was going to say. So I really do find that learning something takes a lot of time. And I really suggest that if you want to learn something, that I need total silence. Nobody talking to me. Nobody playing music, nobody watching TV. I have to be, if I have to go in the bathroom, go in the bedroom and shut the door, then I can learn. I don't learn with all this stuff going on. I hear it all, and it drives me nuts. I also think I have to have a good light. I have an art light that I really like, and then I bought this one that I put on my lap. And I put it on my lap, and I put my hands underneath it, and then I can really see. Without a good light, I'm blind almost sometimes.
Who's that one by?
This is by Idea Works. But it's batteries. You can take it anywhere you want. And the other thing I would like to make sure that you understand is that I think I'm a good knitter because I've ripped more stuff than you have. So if you're knitting just to knit something, and it's got mistakes all over it, I don't care, but you might care. Rip it out if you don't like it. If you make a terrible mistake, especially a brioche, I can't fix brioche very well. ropes were on and I've done that wrong too. I use dental floss for that. You can't break it. And I also use markers. I have markers everywhere. So I think that's really important. As we're watching this, how many people know how to do brioche or at least have tried it? Because I want you to make sure you help the other people if they have questions in a little while. We've also got 3 things of yarn made them for you. If you need some yarn and some needles, there's 3 of them up here. You can borrow them. And I guess we'll start with a video.
The sound is going to be really soft. Maybe we can use the microphone to. It should be coming out of the.
Yeah. At the bottom are the videos. And if you don't have any way of watching the videos, go to the library. They do. They'll let you watch the videos there.
There is. Then turn all the way up.
There's, in order to get the audio to work on this, you need that plug.
Yeah, I did not break one.
Okay.
I tried to think of everything else.
No, that's
everything else in my house.
What if
but
you
I
do
didn't
it
bring that.
what if you do it on a phone and then get the sound out of the phone and do the video from the phone?
They won't be in sync.
They close.
Is there a chance that you can kind of walk us through what she's saying?
Yeah.
Is there a way to raise the speaker over here? Because it is going through the speaker. It is? Yeah.
Okay.
You can make the speaker louder by the volume controls here.
Oh, okay, let's try that.
But I think it's already back.
A little loud.
She's talking about the fabric, which is not teaching you how to do it yet anyway. She's talking about, she likes the plumpy, fluffy. It is, you should touch this if you haven't. Or is that, am I passing something?
Yes, it's going around.
Yeah, because if you think, yeah, that just looks like knit one purl, and it does not feel that way.
Is that a worsted weight in your hand?
This, I think is it a sock yarn?
No,
Somebody gave
looks fingering.
It might be DK.
It looks like fingering from here.
I don't think it's.
Same thing.
It's not, it's decayed, but it's close.
Yeah.
It's otherwise it's the thick fingering.
It's Shepherd's or Lion Brand wool. Scarping.
whatever
Okay, I'm
it
gonna
is.
try to sync these up.
Or just put the
Hold on.
closed captioning on it,
Oh,
and we can read it.
there we go.
Hey, who said that?
Debbie, she's smart.
Thank you.
She's a project manager.
There we go.
And it's very neat, and so it gives this beautiful effect of changing colors, even though it's just one color. So
Can we turn the light off?
show you how to do one color brioche knit. So what I've done here is I've cast on a total of 13 stitches. Now for brioche knit, you do need an odd number of stitches, so I've cast on 13 stitches using the long tail cast on. If you're not familiar with this technique, I've provided the description or the pattern below, or the link to the video below in the description field. And I've also provided the brioche stitch pattern in the description field.
Okay, do you want to see that again?
Yes.
Can you go back? Because this is really important. When you're knitting with brioche,
You want to use this, Lynette? Or no?
no, I think I can talk pretty loud. Can you hear me? One of the things, I got this all wrong. Anyway, one of the things that you do, it says, every time I've done a yarn over, this is before I did brioche, I was making a hole. You yarn over to make a hole in your knitting. That's the only thing I knew it did. And with brioche, the yarn over goes right over the top of a stitch, and then you knit the next stitch. So you're actually not ever making a yarn over with a hole. So that's two different things. And it really bothered me at first, because every time I do a yarn over, then I get a hole. That's just, I thought that's what happened. That's what lace is. Brioche is not that way. So when you bring the yarn to the front, you've got 2 needles, and go through them so the yarn is in the front.
If this says yarn over, it should say yarn forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
yarn forward and then wrap around.
Yeah, what happens is almost every book, and I was going to show you some books in a minute, almost every book says, slip 1 yarn over. That's what it says. But it means the yarn is already in the front. You slip 1 and then the yarn goes over that slip. It doesn't mean slip 1 yarn over. It means the yarn's in the front, then you slip 1, then the yarn goes over.
So it missed the yarn forward before the knit 1.
Yeah, the yarn forward the yarn always has to be in the front. Now if you're purling, the yarn's always in the front. But we're not teaching that, that's 2 colors. 1 color, yarn is in the front, then you slip 1, then the yarn goes over that slip 1. And that's really, really important. You want to?
Yep. All right.
First stitch, just knit. Then you do a yarn forward, or as it's abbreviated in the pattern, YF. So bring the yarn forward, and then you just slip the next stitch purlwise, which means you insert the needle as in the purl and just bring the stitch over without doing anything. Now you gotta knit the next stitch. Now your yarn is in the front, so you want to leave the yarn in the front, and you want to insert your needle into the next stitch and knit. As you're doing that, it's like you're doing a yarn over. Okay, so with the yarn in the front, we're just gonna knit that next stitch. Okay, and you'll see what's happened here is now we have this sort of pair of stitches that we have formed. The one that was the yarn that got yarn over, and then the stitch that was there before it, the one that we sewed. So now we formed this sort of pair of stitches, which is called a brioche stitch. Okay, and so for the setup row, that's all you're doing. You're doing the yarn forward, you're slipping the next stitch, and then you're knitting the stitch after that with the yarn in the front. You're just going to keep doing this, repeating this until you get to the end of the row. And that is the first row, the setup row. You only do that 1 time in the project that you're knitting in this, whether you're making a scarf or blanket. You're only going to do the setup row that first time.
Okay, you want to just go on? Anybody else need to see it? Please go home and look at it yourselves if you really want to learn how to do it, because that's how I learned a lot of things. YouTube is wonderful.
So you essentially have that little cross stitch and then a single stitch, cross stitch.
That's all it
single
is.
stitch, cross- Okay.
Okay, let me tell you real exciting news is that's all there is. If you're doing 1 color, that's it. Now look at the next part. last knit, or you can knit the first one and slip the last one. It gives it a tighter edge to it. But you can do all kinds of other things if you want, but I'm not telling you.
It's a really long rope. Don't turn it around.
Okay, going? Yeah.
And now we come to the last 3 stitches. We have these 2 stitches are brioche stitch, and then we have the single stitch. So we're gonna do the work, and we're just gonna knit without putting the yarn over. Just gonna knit that last stitch. Okay? And then you have your work. And now again, if you stretch the stitches, you'll notice that we pretty much still have that same pattern, except we have it reversed. So we have our very first stitch, we're not gonna count that. The first stitch, essentially we're always knitting, and so that just provides a nice little border. But you'll notice that again, we have a single stitch, and that combination brioche stitch, single, then brioche, and so on. So in row 2, we're again doing the same steps, but the border is a little bit reversed. So the first stitch we're gonna knit. Then we bring the yarn forward, and
glad to try to answer.
Would anybody like to try it? The setup bar was already done on these
Yeah,
samples.
I've got some yarn and needles up here. You can try it if you want to. I do hope you go home and try it. Because especially if you have video, you can look at it. I don't know if you noticed, you can go back and forth. You can just put your finger on my iPad, I don't know about computers, and just move it back. And then it'll go forward and then move it back.
You can also change the speed of how fast it talks.
Right, you can also, that's good. You can also make the person talk slower, which is really good. And that's something that I really like to do. I can at least go back to 75.
It slows the whole video down. It's not just her talking.
Yeah.
I have a question about, I don't know if you can answer, but, is it difficult to correct mistakes?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not difficult in one color. One color, you can, the way I do it was with a machine knitting needle that has a latch on it, and then you just latch it up.
Like a hook,
Like a
crochet.
hook, the crochet hook works. What I can't figure out, and I have a hard time doing, is if I forgot to do something, sometimes that's hard for me to go back, especially if I forgot an increase. I can do a decrease and probably nobody noticed that I did it. Most people probably wouldn't know if I did it wrong anyway. I learned that a long time ago. That even stuff I think is not perfect, you guys might figure it out, but most people won't. They're not gonna see it, you know?
So you pretty much just take back if you make mistakes?
I can actually take it off and rip back and put it all back on.
I know what road you're on when it's
You have to really watch the directions.
This is one color.
One color's really, but you were gonna say something.
I was gonna say, two color, you gotta have lifelines, 'cause, I mean, I'm really good at fixing stuff, I can't fix brioche two colors.
Brioche is really hard.
So just rip it out, try again.
But if you use a lifeline, it's wonderful, then you can pick up everything and then you go on. It's right down to where you put the lifeline. Anything else? Any other questions? Yes.
Let's say I'm making a one color scarf
Yeah.
and I want to change colors. How would I go back
Just change color.
and just continue the stitch?
Continue with a different color. I think that's something a lot, if you're doing stripes, you can just change colors back and forth, especially if you do. I would do one across and one back, and then change the color, one across and one back, or do it, you know, you can do that.
Okay.
Just like Fair Isle.
Question.
Yeah?
What's the name of the pattern that you're wearing?
Can't remember the name of it right this second, but it's in this is one of the reason I decided to wear this today. I wanted to show you, this is why I wanted to learn. This was in the, oh, I know I should have written it down.
Sorry, I didn't mean for it to be
No,
a
that's
tough
all right.
test.
I have problems remembering names of things. Pretty soon I'll go, oh, that's what it is.
Right.
But,
This is on your,
Driving home and then you'll
okay.
Is it on your Ravelry page?
It's in the Pom-Pom magazine. I knew if I kept thinking about it, it would come. It's in one of the Pom-Pom books from a long time ago. And I wanted to learn it. Can you turn back on the lights for a second?
I have a question about the weight of the yarn. Is it best to use figuring type yarn because it makes a double thickness kind of?
This is
worsted?
yeah, closer to worsted.
Yeah, that's not too heavy.
And the different.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is their
like-
yarn, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that
I wanted to also show you the books. I couldn't get this book, but Jody had it and she brought it, and I'm glad. This is a really neat book. They're both by Nancy Marchand. So I bought this one because this one wasn't available. And what I decided to do when I learned how to do I made all kinds. They're all different, I thought, until I started looking at them. Oh, I picked that was the same as that one. But pick something you want to learn and do one of them, and don't do it all the way across the whole sweater. Just do one little pattern. You know.
That black one, is that variegated yarn, or is that a one?
Yeah, this is a variegated on one side
And that's one,
and black on the other. The other thing I learned is that you must, if you're doing two colors, have
Black yarn and a variegated.
two totally different colors. Like, this was a little bit hard because it wasn't dark enough and light enough to see what I was doing. This one was great because it's black on one side, but when you start doing, like, these two were not easy. They're very close together. Yeah, this was great. This was wonderful. And then I wanted to tell you one more thing before I start to do two color, or maybe we won't. But when you decide what colors you need, I always, for a long time, did the first color to be light. But when you decide you're going to switch it, it's awful, because I couldn't remember which one was which. I ran out of yarn on this one. And you can see where I ran out. See, this is a lighter gray. I don't know if you can see it. Lighter gray, and then I ran out. And I went, I'll just switch them. That way it'll be obvious. So now the blue's on the back side and the black's on the front. Only you have to tell your brain that too. And every time I saw the blue, I no, that isn't. Oh, it's so doing stuff like that is not smart for a while. So, especially if you've done all of the things where light color first, then the dark color, light color first. And when you're doing two color stuff, I like to make sure that, what was I going to say? Oh, this was fun. I made this up. I spun the green and yellow yarn. It was my spinning. And then I decided to just do round and round. Well, that's way different than flat. Especially because I was adding stitches all along it, and where I began kept moving over. But you just knit around until you find the other color. Oh, I have to do that color now. It wasn't in the same spot. So there are some things that you don't want to do. But I had fun doing that. I think there's...
Is that all you knit now is brioche? Because you have a lot of brioche.
I have more over there. But what were we doing for the last 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
I was sitting by myself in a room. We were trying to sell our house in 220. And people came in and looked at it, but I had to leave. And then there wasn't anybody I could talk to hardly. I saw my one knitting group outside. We would, one sit here, one sit over there. Then it kind of got too hot. So I don't do flowers. I don't want to cook. I do lots of, all I want to do is knit. So, you know, that's why I've done so much. But anyway. Do we have time to do any more?
We have the room till 4.
You want to see two color? I would suggest that you don't try it first. It's very much the same. It's very much the same. Once you do one color, then you go, oh, now I know what I'm doing. You'll see that you always have to have that one stitch over the top of the other stitch. And it's not two. And a friend of mine was saying knit two together. I went, no, don't say that.
Can you still read on that?
Everything closed.
Well,
Okay, sorry guys.
You have to come over here to see.
Rental fleet is the absolute goat. Nice. Speaking of goats, is that summer?
She's trying to do her phone and sync them together.
I used to stay away from brioche stitch for a long time because I thought it was complicated and I was a little bit intimidated by it, but I've been working on the stitch recently and I'm absolutely fallen in love with it. So I'm so excited to show you how to.
Hold on. I think I have a different one up. I thought I had the same one.
No, this is how to knit
Oh.
part 1.
Oh, okay. I have the wrong one up on here.
Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to knit the two-color brioche knit. Last week I did a video on the one-color brioche knit and as promised here.
Hold on. What just happened?
There you go.
Okay. Whew. Sorry, guys.
I'm glad you know how to do
Nope,
it.
this isn't. It keeps taking me to the wrong.
I think you may have hit forward instead of play.
Yeah, you hit fast forward or forward.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's playing now, you just can't hear it.
Okay.
And then turn on the caption.
This is just a color that is just knit up in the two-color brioche is just into a loop that I've seen here as you can see using the Kitcher stitch. And I used a colorway that had 5 different shades of pink. I have not yet blocked this work, but pretty
Hold on. Sorry.
much
There we
easier.
go.
I just set them up in sections.
Didn't realize that was so complicated.
And work on a different section, but in each section really it's only 2 colors, and because the brioche knit produces a fabric that's really flexible and flat and it's reversible, so it's the same. It works both. The pattern looks good on both sides, but because of the color play with the 2-color brioche, you get a different sort of contrasting color or alternating colors on either side, and so I think it gives a really fun and beautiful effect. The other project I'm currently working on, which I haven't finished yet, is a wrap in these 2 colors of green. It's took me a long time, and I thought, let me do something. And right now I'm so excited about the brioche stitch. So I thought, hey, I'll just do a poncho wrap with this. So it's not yet done, but as you can see, it's in 2 shades of green. One side bring the light, one side bring the dark. I think once it's finished, it will look nice. Now, the one difference between the 1-color brioche knit and the 2-color brioche knit is that for the 1-color, you only need you could use a regular needle, but for the 2-color brioche knit, you will need a double-pointed needle.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can short both.
I can. Hold on. I just need some coordination. Okay. What do you want me to slow down?
75, yeah. Okay. You still understand it.
So do you use double points like on that wrap you have on?
No, I use circular.
I think that's what she was.
You have to use
That's what she was
circular.
going to say, I think, circulars.
Just told us the
Well,
double.
circular is double point, same thing.
They are double point.
Yeah.
You got a hand on each end. No.
Yeah,
Why don't you just bring up the
Both ends.
because they're shorter.
And if you have a few number of stitches, like in the example I'm going to show you here, in this video, you can use a double-pointed needle. These are usually about 6 or 7 inches in length, but anything more than 25 stitches or so, depending on the bulkiness of the yarn, the short double-pointed needle may not be enough, so you might need to switch over to a circular needle. Okay? So let me show you how the brioche stitch is worked. And I have provided the pattern down below in the video description field for the brioche stitch. And then using this long tail cast on method. Now, if you're using, for the two color brioche, you want to identify one of your colors is color A and color B. So for this demonstration, I'm using these two colors, this white and then this sort of dark red or maroon color. And so I have, this is going to be my main color, this dark color, and I'm considering this my contrasting color. So in the pattern, you'll see me call it as main color and contrasting. You want to cast on the stitches with your main color, and then, just like for this one stitch brioche or one color brioche knit, with the main color, you will need, excuse me, you will need to do a setup row. So you cast on the stitches with your main color or color B, as I'm calling it, and you will start the setup row with your contrasting color. So, take the contrasting color, leave about a 4 to 6 inch tail or so, and then you will start the setup row. So the setup row, the very first stitch, we're just going to knit it. So you just insert as if to knit, make a loop. You don't have to tie a knot or anything, just make a loop and knit. Okay? Now, as you progress, make sure you're catching the part of the yarn that's the main part of the yarn. Next stitch, put the yarn forward. Then you're going to slip this next stitch purlwise as if so. Insert as if purl and then just pull it over without doing anything. Now your yarn is still forward. With the yarn in the front, we're going to knit this next stitch. So insert and watch what happens again as I'm knitting. I have now created a stitch, and these two stitches together, these two kind of make up the brioche stitch, okay? And you're pretty much going to do that through the end. So you bring the yarn forward, you slip that next stitch as if to purl, but just slip it over, and then you knit the next stitch with the yarn in the front. So for the setup row, that's all you're doing. Just keep doing that.
But if you're at home, you can slow this down to almost.
Do you want me to pause this?
I don't think we're gonna.
Okay, we're just gonna watch it.
We're just gonna watch it.
Cool.
I would go back and watch it back and forth again and again. It's the same as the other one.
Once you've come to that part, here's the key thing to remember, and this is where sometimes mistakes can happen when you're doing brioche, because we're so used to turning the work after we're done. You just want to turn it and start working on the next row. But with brioche, you don't turn the work. So you do your setup row, and then you slide your stitches.
That's why you want to circle it.
So if you're using a circular needle, you do the same thing. Slide them all the way over to the other end of the needle. And now we're going to do the next. So after the setup row, we're going to do 4 rows, and we'll be doing those with alternating the darker color and the lighter color, or your main color and your alternate
I'll go get yours.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure that Lynn gets pictures of your.
Before I leave, check your phone and see if you got mine.
I replied back.
Oh, okay.
Did you get it?
I had mine muted.
Yeah, because I replied back so you know. I said thanks. Did it not come?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did it at 3 o'clock.
So you told me you got it.
Yeah, I've got it. That's good
I
enough.
got your number.
Yeah. So it's all good.
Okay, I'm going to compare my little swatch here that I worked on. See if it looks anything similar to.
Well, these are all two colored. There we go. That one's.
Yeah. I didn't take care to bind off like I